How's that for an intro, guys? Hey, welcome, welcome. Yes, I know, it's the sheet music book. Hey there, guys. How are you doing? Welcome to another installment of Let's Anime Show! Anyway, hi, guys. Hi, hello. Can you hear me okay? Is the sound on? Let me know. I think I've got the mic going here. It's showing in the greens on my end. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I do apologize that, well, the pre-show was kind of chill. Yes, thank you, Jay. How you doing? Amber, hi, nice to see you there. Yeah, I I didn't realize that the stream was not on. It was on OBS here, on my streaming program, but not through YouTube. So I had to make a last-minute switch there and actually turn it on, so we would actually be streaming. Otherwise, we'd go through that same thing we did at the very first stream, where I'd been talking for about 15 minutes and realized nobody was getting the stream because I hadn't turned it on. So good thing I caught it this time, and it wasn't 15 minutes in. Laura, hey, Laura is here. Hey guys, look, everybody in chat. Laura, I think you remember her. She had joined us way back in a couple of the earlier, few of the earlier episodes of the show. She is, of course, another Bandori fan, and likes anime. So everybody in chat, say hello to Laura, or hi, or hello again to Laura. Amber, Jay, I don't know who else is in chat, or who else is coming into chat, but I'm sure there's people lurking. If you're a lurker, say hi in chat, and then you can go back and lurk again. But it's nice to see you, Laura. It's nice to see you. I've been loving the stuff you've been putting up there on your Instagram. Get some more of those cover songs, because that one for Roselia that you did was primo. So I want to see a full one. That would be awesome. Do a full cover of Roselia. I think you did Firebird, if I'm remembering it right. If it wasn't Firebird, do another one. Do Neo Aspect. Yeah, do Neo Aspect. That would be cool, because I love that. I like that song. So yes, Laura, Jay, Amber, say hello to everybody. I'm sure we'll get some more people in as the evening progresses. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Tara, hopefully, because I saw Tara on Twitter a little while ago. Maybe we'll get May. I'm sure May will come in. I'm sure she'll come in right as we begin the Bandori segment, which she always seems to do. She's got impeccable timing, that one there. So before we get started, a couple things I want to say. Of course, to our unofficial sponsors, Starbucks, they don't really sponsor me. I just go there just before here. I get dinner. I get a coffee. I get a chocolate cornet. You know, Rimirin's favorite treat. It's really a chocolate croissant, but I'm gonna call it a chocolate cornet because, simply because. How do you not like this little girl here? This little one. Look at that. So cute. She turned into one in that episode of Garupa Pico. Yes. Okay, what does Laura say? Neo Aspect will be my next cover. Yes, thank you. Yes, awesome. Yay! I can't wait to see that one. I'll be watching Instagram for that, and eagerly awaiting, because as I mentioned last time, I think you guys were here. Jay, you were there, and Amber, you were there. That when I saw episode of Roselia, and they played Neo Aspect, way back when I started looking for, as I'd mentioned at the not last week, but the week before, the prior show, episode 11, that I had seen a condensed or a truncated version of the Budokan Live for Popipa, and in the middle of that, they had played a clip, or like a little short extract from Neo Aspect. And at the time I thought, oh, this is Roselia. This is a pretty cool song. And then when I heard it again in full, in context, in EOR, I think which was in the first one, or maybe it was the second one. Anyway, when I heard it again, it was like slap in the face. Everything came full circle. And of course the feels hit me, and you get that, punch in the gut kind of thing, and the goosebumps everywhere. Stuka. Nice to see you, sir. Good to see you, sir. I see We're starting to get a full house here. Stuka, I don't know if you remember Laura. She was in one of the earlier streams that we did, probably like episode 2 or 3 or 2 and 3. I think she showed up a couple times. So say hello, Laura, Stuka, Laura, and of course Amber and Jay. I'm sure we'll get some more in. Hopefully we'll get more folks who had come in last time. So anyway, anime show. Let's anime episode 12. We've hit a dozen. Isn't that cool? We're hit double digits now. I'm enjoying that. I do apologize. Oh, Field Medic! Field! FM, I see you're here, and I know exactly who you are. I'm not going to say your name out loud because that's sort of like doxing you. Even though I know you, I know who you are. I know Field Medic. I know his folks, who are friends of mine. And I know you haven't been here in a while. I know you were here several times in previous in streams. So I don't know if you remember Laura. If you were here when she was here, I can't quite remember. You might have. If not, say hello. Field Medic, FM, Stuka, Laura, Amber, and Jay. And of course, I'm sure we'll get some more people. Hopefully Haru shows up. Hey, sorry I've been absent for nope, not a problem. Jump in when you're able to. I'm sure you're out doing field medic-y stuff. Or something. But anyway, yeah, whenever you're able to get to the show, do jump on. It's nice having lots of folks out there, fellow anime fans, which I'm sure I know you are, because I remember your dad telling me that you guys had started watching a whole bunch of anime. So that's good. Good on you. It's good that you're expanding your horizons to include anime, which I think everybody should. So anyway, episode 12 of Anime Show, as a show up there, and as I pointed out, brought to you by, not really, unofficially by Starbucks. I've got my chocolate cornet. I've also got my beverage of choice. Again, it's an iced what is it? Blonde mocha. So I have an icy blonde here in a cup, which is kind of weird, and I'm not going to really go there. And of course, my favorite cup, Xeno Warrior Princess, because, just the thing about warrior girls. Anyway, so let's get things started, and as of course we always get started with the very initial letters of the alphabet. Bang, dream. So here we go. And as usual, of course, let me adjust the camera here a little bit. We have to take in that opening intro from Starbeat. Yes, it is an awesome mug. I got that. That mug has been with me, Jay, for, I would have to say, well over 2 decades. I bought it at a convention back in 90 something. So yeah, it's been with me for quite some time. I bought that at a convention in San Francisco, a Xena convention, way back when, and one of the few things that has stuck around. I've got some other Xena stuff, but that one, I've got the the videos and all 7 seasons, 6 seasons actually. I don't have season 7, but that mug has been with me for the longest time. It is an awesome mug. So anyway, as I was saying. Just let the opening chords of that song just kind of rain down on you, because it is Bandori, and since it is Bandori, let's get started on some Bandori goodness. And of course, as you all know, everything is Bandori related, so it'll be Bandori and Bandori adjacent stuff that we will talk about. So let's get things started. I don't think Tara is here tonight, but well, before we get to that, we really should do this, which we talked about last time from the. I still love this picture. It's from the Pop and Shuffle Instagram. I mean, she's sleeping. You need the snot bubble. Otherwise, it's, and who else will it look cute than on Aimee? So anyway, Jay. I wish they still had Xena conventions. Yeah, they should make a Xena. Well, actually, interestingly enough, there was not an anime per se, but there was an animated Xena movie, which came out I think sometime between seasons 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. So, or maybe it was a little bit earlier. And it was Xena and Hercules it was a movie about them. There were some adventure. I don't quite remember the details, but I remember seeing the DVD, or at least at the time, the videotape. Something like the Battle for Mount Olympus or something like that. And the art style was not really my favorite. It was kind of interesting, more sort of stylistic or stylized than straight Western animation style. It was sort of like they kind of took the Hercules, the Disney Hercules, that kind of art style, and then some. It wasn't really my favorite. I don't think I saw all of it, but I do remember seeing the ads for it, and it was of course voiced by Lucy Lawless and Kevin Sorbo as Hercules. Xena anime. Oh yes. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Yes, I think if you're talking about that movie with Hercules, that would have been that animated movie, I believe it was, that came out. Yeah, came out sometime in the middle of the season, the run of the show. But I think depending on certain conventions, I think they still bring in some of the folks from the show. I mean, by this point now, you get people like Carl Urban, who played Cupid, of all people, on the show. You probably know him better as Éomer from Lord of the Rings, and then a couple of other. He played Dredd, of course, which is an awesome movie, much better than the Sylvester Stallone version of Judge Dredd, which we won't really get into. It's sort of like talking about that version of Judge Dredd would be like acknowledging the existence of Highlander 2. Enough said. So anyway, let's get back to some Bandori stuff. So we have Snot Bubble Sleeping Aimee, which of course leads us. Speaking of sleeping, this is one that Tara popped up on Twitter. I think it was the other day, or maybe it was today, or I can't remember now. It's been that sort of week. Thankfully, I've survived. But this came up. I think it was today. No, a couple days ago, September 7th, according to this date here. So, and today is the 11th. So 4 days ago, popped this up, and I thought, oh, isn't that? I mean, how much cuter can you get for a GIF or GIF, however you want to say it, a little animated thing of everybody's favorite. They should be everybody's favorite. My favorite keyboardist, Ichigaya-san, Arisa, of course, as you well know. She is my favorite. Again, sticker courtesy of Jay and Stuka. Thank you. Look at that. Look at her. How cute is that? And of course, I'll have to go in there, and we've got little key ring, and I've got the other one over there as well. Speaking of, I am attired properly tonight, as you can see. I turn around, but I'd probably knock over all my electronic stuff, so I'm not going to. But I think you can probably. Oh yeah, you can sort of see. Oh, and I'm probably gonna twist something. I don't know if you can see the back. Can you guys see the back? I can't get a reaction from anybody. But anyway, there's the back of that T-shirt. So that was one of the ones that I did on the unveiling from a few weeks back. And might as well, since it is here, as I reach over, that you don't see me, and knock over a few things here. I won't. It's not too bad, because all I did was just move the Edo Rose card set. Woohoo! Yes, of Roselia, and then so I need to attire myself with the proper stuff, which is the lanyard. All right, here we go. Let's get this. All right, so now I look like I'm going to a Bandori convention, right? Awesome. Okay, so anyway, so as I pointed out, so Tara puts this up on Twitter the other day, and I said, "Oh, how cute!" And I happened to tell him, I happened to mention, of course, as you guys all know, Arisa is my favorite, and so he ends up, I think, following that in a couple of later tweets, he ends up putting together his favorite list of Bandori people and favorite anime characters. So I thought, why not run through my favorite anime characters? I'm sure you guys already know, but I'm gonna do that anyway. So he also mentions his favorite SHIYOU, which you guys probably already know. But since I did a tweet on my top 10 or my list of top 10 Bang Dream songs, most of which were poppin'party songs. Poppy-pa, of course, why not? So I thought in the Bandori-verse, these are the characters. These are my top 4 characters. I picked 4 because I don't know why. It just happened that way. So, of course, at the top is Arisa. Number 2 is Ako. And I just like her because she's the Roselia's drummer. And, of course, those of you who know her, she's just adorable when she starts to try and do sort of demonic, dark, gothic incantations and then completely forgets what she's going on, and just it ends up turning into something completely nonsensical. So anyway, I thought she's kind of a really cute character. Rimi, of course, is the next one, and of course, who cannot not like Little Miss Chocolate Cornet. And of course, number 4 is Kokoro, because all right, so how do you not like a girl who, despite the fact that she is extremely, like, totally rich beyond all the dreams of Midas, beyond all the dreams of Croesus. She owns a yacht, of course. She can put jets on Michelle and make her fly. Come on. How do you beat that? But the fact that I believe it was in the middle of season 2, one of the early episodes, they're trying to cheer up Poppy-pa, and she sees them from the third floor or second floor of the school building, and then she jumps out and does this flip down to the grass below. What the hell was that? She's jumping around everywhere, and of course we all know that she's being helped by the men in the black suits, who in the sunglasses, who are basically they're basically the equivalent of the guys, the stagehands in black, all in black, doing the puppet show behind the scenes of a stage show. So anyway, those are my 4. And then if we're gonna talk about SHIYOU, of course we're back in Bandori land, in the Bandori-verse. Top 4. Number 1, Maho. Don't ask. You guys should know by now that they're not going to be singled out, so except as a pair. So Maho's number 1. Number 2, Ayasa, who is the voice of Arisa, interestingly enough. Amber has a comment. Amber, and she jumped off the window, second floor, and lands on her. Yes, exactly that. And then doesn't she do a bunch of flips toward? I vaguely remember she was doing a bunch of flips toward where Poppy-pa was sitting on the grass outside in like the quad. Yeah. Jumps out the window. What the hell? But that's just adorable. Okay, so back to the SHIYOU. So number 2 SHIYOU is Ito Ayasa, who is the voice of Arisa. Yay, Arisa! Anyway, so she's my number 2. Number 3, Kudoharu, who is the voice of SHIYOU, the guitarist for Roselia, the blue hair, the younger sister of Hina, who is I'm gonna get this messed up. Paspare is Hina. Right. Yes, I believe so. And if I'm wrong, somebody shoot me, stab me in the face, because I really should get that right. And of course, number 4 is Sumu. I like her because she's hilarious when she's on. Anytime she shows up on Hibiki, she's just very, very enthusiastic and just really out there. A sort of a tone, I would say, partially toned down version of Maho when Maho is doing her channel, but more or less right about the same. So Sumugirisa, who is the voice of Chutu of Reza Swilin. And then later on, Terra goes on to point out his favorite anime characters. And since that goes into it sort of goes beyond Bandori into anime, we'll cover those when I talk about in our anime corner a little later on in the show. So next up, so last week was kind of a lot of stuff going on in Bandori world, talking about seiyus. Yeah, then well, those are pretty good. I mean, that's Laura says her favorite seiyus are Aimi and Moepi, and then Maho. Yes, Sayu's the older twin, and Hina's in Pasupare. Yes, and as I mentioned in in episode 11, I love the interplay between Sayo and Hina. Especially, you see more of that, the sort of guts of that relationship and the dynamic between the two of them in episode of Roselia, which I really loved how they did that. Moepi, yes, I love Moepi. She is a hoot. I loved her appearance on the Maho channel, which I think was like episode 18 or 19. I'd have to check again. Maybe it was episode 20, but I think it was like 18 or 19. It's the one where, well, I'm about to say something about that. I'll get to it in just a minute. Legendary Densetsu. Hey guys, Densetsu is here. Densetsu, welcome to chat. Remember Densetsu? He's been here. You've been back beating Tsukihime remake for play. Oh my god, 63 hours, dude. Good lord. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, Densetsu. So that's a lot of playing, but you know, if you're enjoying it, I say go for it. So anyway, Densetsu, we've got Amber, Laura, Field Medic, FM is back, Jay and Stuka are in the house. I'm not ever gonna do that again because I really shouldn't be doing things like that. So welcome back, Densetsu, guys, folks. Densetsu is here, yes. So where was I? Okay, so last week was a very what am I saying? Was an exciting time in Bandori land, and of course in Hibiki land, because last week we found out that Hokaze Chiharu was now a member of Hibiki. And of course, those of you who know, who might know her, Chiharu was played one of the leads in 22/7, the anime, also Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia, and she is now going in the mononym of Chiharu. Oddly enough, like a certain other seiyu who has a similar kind of name, a single name, shall we say Aimi, and it turns out, of course, as was shown, Chiharu is Aimi's younger sister, little sister, her imoto, and Aimi, of course, tweeted that confirmation, and by showing a photo of them. And when I did see the photo of that, Chiharu Terakawa, their real name, I think their stage name is Hokaze Chiharu, and then she goes by Chiharu now, I guess taking after her sister, who's only going under Aimi. But so Aimi posted a picture which was 4 years old and said, "Yes, this is my little sister. She is now part of the Hibiki family, the Hibiki agency." And it was really cute because if you look at that picture, I'll have to post the picture somewhere. But anyway, if you look at it, you can definitely see the family resemblance. I mean, if you're doing a quick glance, you could almost say they're either twins or one is the other, except for a few differences here. It's almost uncanny. Shortly following that, I think it was. So that was on September the 1st, which, if my calendar pops up here, was Wednesday last week. And I think it was Amber. Correct me if I'm wrong. Amber, wasn't it you who asked me, hey, is the rumor true? Is Chiharu Aimi's sister? And then I went and did some checking. So as I was following that story going, oh yeah, I think it might be, because there were some people on Reddit who were putting clues together, according to a Google search that I did, that Chiharu might be Aimi's sister, but there had been at the time, and this was like two years ago or something, or a year ago, that at the time there was no definitive confirmation about that up until Aimi posted that picture of the two of them and did say, "Oh yes, this is my little sister." So I think, Amber, it was you. I went to look at her her Twitter page, which had popped up. I guess she had an older one that she was using when she was in 22/7, and after she graduated, quote unquote, left to go pursue more SHIYOU and not just be an idol. They gave her a new Twitter account, and I was looking at that, and at the time, which was about by Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m., I was looking at that. It was about 3,000 or so followers. As soon as the story started to break, I watched, and this is really awesome. I tweeted about this. I thought this was really cool because as you watch in the next few hours, within 3 hours, she had jumped to something like 15,000, from 3,000 to 15,000, 15,000 followers. And then as the night progressed, before the end of the night, I think she hit, by midnight Pacific time, she had hit, which I think was sometime in the middle of the day, Tokyo time. By midnight Pacific time, she had hit, I think it was 19,000 followers, and right now she's sitting at a nice, comfortable, 28 something, I think, 28K followers, and that was within a little more than a week, which I think is great. Good. I'm looking forward to whatever that she's going to be involved in. I think she had mentioned there's a couple things that she's going to be in. I'll have to double check on that. I didn't quite get the names of the shows, but she said, "Oh, I'm in this one," on a couple of tweets. So I'm looking forward to see what Chiharun, apparently is her nickname, what Chiharun is going to be up to. And I do see a lot of people still referring to her as, Aimee's little sister, but I'm going to refer to her as Chiharun, because she's going to do the was it Terra? Okay, maybe it was Terra. It was either Terra or maybe it was you. I can't remember exactly who had posted something on Twitter asking or saying, "Hey, is this rumor true?" And I think so yes. So somewhere in the Bandori circle that we inhabit on Twitter, we were talking about Chiharun, and I'm glad that she's able to strike out on her own now as part of the Hibiki family. So having said that, the next day, there was a live broadcast, a Hibiki-style live broadcast with Mikuron and Rukarun of D4DJ's Lyrical Lily, and two other folks were there. And Chiharu shows up at somewhere around 15-minute mark or thereabouts, 18-minute mark. She shows up. Mikuron says, and we have, a new person joining the Hibiki family, Chiharu, and she walks out and gives a little self-introduction, which was very short. Now this is what I was going to talk about, which is why I mentioned Moepi earlier. My thought was, wouldn't it have been cool? I mean, it is cool that she got on with a bunch of other people already there, and Mikuron sort of, since they know each other, past Milky Holmes, Aimee being in Milky Holmes franchise from early on, so I'm sure they had some dealings together, or at least knew of each other at the time. But it was nice, as nice as it was to have her. I think it would have been really cool if they had a Hibiki style where it was Aimee and Chiharu, acknowledge that they're related, that they're sisters, and they would give a and it was sort of a nice short one or something long where it's the two of them doing stuff. But I was thinking, wouldn't it have been cool if during that moment, or during that little period at the beginning of the show, Chiharu's trying to give a Jiko Shokai, her self-introduction, but then she keeps getting interrupted by various Hibiki seiyus who come in. So we'd get Ai would come in, Ayasa would come in, Mikuron would come in, everybody else would come in and interrupt them as she was trying. And then each time there would be, a short thing, something would happen, they'd get interrupted, and then they leave, and then she'd try to resume her introduction, and somebody else would come in and interrupted, which reminded me of the Maho channel episode with Moepi and Maho, in which Maho and Moepi are just trying to have an interview, and for whatever reason, everybody in the Kukugumi starts calling them. First it's Ai, then Ayasa, and all of them were talking about Don Mori, basically Animal Crossing, which Donbutsu Mori in Japanese. So I think there was like 4 different phone calls II calls first to talk about Animal Crossing, and then Ayasa calls next and says she just bought the game for her Switch, and then two other people call. I think I'm forgetting who they were, but they were both together, and then I think it was Teru. Or somebody else calls at the end, and we find out that Ayasa and she were together, and they were both calling at the same time. So anyway, I thought that would have been cool, and it would have reminded me of that. So I thought that was really fun. So let's see. So from there, I'm gonna back up just a little bit before I move on to the next bit, because we have to do a countdown. As of today, there are 17 days left before Roz's 8th single comes out. We've got 24 days before Morphonica's 3rd single. I was supposed to have done this earlier. And Poppin' Dream comes out in 113 days. So that's the countdown part of the show. So I'm going to continue. And speaking of Chiharu showing up, so Amber posted this one today. Basic. Yes, Amber, I'm going to pick on you today. Apparently, since I thought you were the one about the. You were talking. It might have been Tara asking about the rumors between Aimi and Chiharu. But so this popped up today on my feed. Amber is asking, "Hey, anyone want to guess whose eyes these belong to?" And of course, as it was pointed out, they belong to Chiharu, which led me to think, and part of, I think May was involved in that conversation. She was guessing Chiharu. I was thinking Chiharu Aimi, but I think I went with Chiharu because I thought for a second it was Aimi. As I said before, they do have a resemblance. So I thought first it was her, but not quite. There was something just not exactly Aimin or Aimi there. So I thought, okay, it's probably Chiharu. But anyway, I believe Amber was saying in the rest of the conversation to May, well, it's a way of recognizing your favorite seiyuu just by their eyes in case you run into them in real life. And I said, oh, that's a really good idea. We should start to, memorize our favorite seiyus by the shape of their eyes. So I said, well, I'm going to start making some eye flashcards for some certain seiyuu, and I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell you exactly who I'm going to be making the eye flashcards about. You probably already guessed. I've got a couple of yes, eye maho, of course. So I'm gonna have eyes, eye, and maho eyes following me pretty much everywhere, I guess. I don't know if that's creepy in a sense that there's a fixation there, or it's just something. You guys should know where it is I'm coming from with this. So yeah, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. So so this next one, since we are talking about Ai and Aimi and Chiharu, so this one popped up on my feed, as you guys might have known or might have heard. There is a manga out called Talkin, which is the idea comes from, of course, our Team Y girls, Mikoron, Ayasa, and Aimi, and which it's been serialized in monthly Bushiroad. So now, Amber, yes, Amber, you'll feel like they're watching you. Yeah, something like that, especially with some of the expressions I'm running into so far. So anyway, so the serialization had been so far in monthly Bushiroad. It's the manga called Talkin, and apparently it's just been serialized or been collected into the first volume. The first volume, according to a Bushiroad announcement, the synopsis reads: Yayoi Sakamoto, who loves comedy, enrolled in a private Kazuki high school in Namba, Osaka. Reunited with childhood friend Yomogi Takahashi, they'd formed a combination called Konamonzu when they were little. Immediately, a mysterious girl called out when she was trying to make a story in a park of memories in order to enter a contest in the shopping district. Now, it's not quite clear who the characters are aside from the synopsis, so I'll have to do a little bit more digging. But as you can see here from left to right, clearly they're the same color schemes that we see in Team Y on YouTube. So from left to right, we have Mikoron, Ayasa, and Aimi. And of course, in the credits for the manga, they didn't quite write the script, but they did have input in the storyline and the idea behind it. So having said that, so in I guess it was today, there was an event today to commemorate the release of Volume 1, in which the three ladies of Team Y appeared live to do a manzai performance. And so manzai basically is a comedy. It's usually a two-person comedy act, but I guess in this case they did a three-person comedy act. So they were doing manzai comedy, and of course, who better to MC the event than my favorite SHIYOU, Ai over there on the left. As you can see, she headed up the event for the three doing manzai comedy, and of course, this is just one picture. There's another one here of two of my favorite SHIYOUs. Not counting Ai Maho, but just Ai by herself, or Ai by herself. And of course, there in the pink is Ayasa, and then we've got Aimi and Mikoron. And as it happens, hey, let's go back to Chiharun, because she showed up to the show. There she is, there too, with her eyes watching you, already preset behind the mask. So there's the three of them. And since we've mentioned favorite SHIYOUs and Ai has shown up, we of course need to go to our next segment, which is Cho SHIYOU Sanjo, or otherwise known as Ojo-sama, the outstandingly joyful and over-enthusiastically unbelievable society of Ai and maho-nee appreciation. And and of course, in honor of that, we go to my favorite part of the show. Cue the music. Honestly, I can't get enough of those two. I think I've mentioned before that I will just watch that little slideshow that I put together over and over multiple times. And as it happens, because of the two of them, recently I was watching. I was able to acquire the video, a digital copy of the Review Starlight Live number 2. I believe it's called Transition, and has some of my favorite songs, 99 Illusion, in there. And I found myself over a course of a couple days just sitting there watching the entire thing, and then watching two specific segments of that. And I think that was one reason why last week happened as it did, and was unable to do the stream because I'd stayed up too late, and of course I get up early in the morning, so I had about 3 hours of sleep over 2 days. Not good when you're working an 8-hour day or 7 to 8 hour day. So that was my fault. My fault for doing that. But yeah, it was basically watch that, and then I would watch Glittering Stars and 99 Illusion about 3 or 4 times before I decided, okay, I think I'm off to bed now. So having said that, I just have to just be in awe of these poses here. And my favorite, of course, that I showed you last week was the fight. Come on, how do you not like someone who just falls into that pose in front of a picture. I mean, out of everybody else in that picture, look at that. Everybody, hey, let's have fun. There's I going, I'm going to fight somebody and destroy them. And then I think you can see where some of these flashcards are coming from. I'm not going to. No, I freely admit that they're coming from some of those pictures right there. So let me hydrate a little bit here, and then we will move on to the next part, which of course is time to talk about some anime. And the anime we're going to be covering, well, I'll get to that. Here we go. Let's get to the next part of our show, the main part of our show, because that's anime show. So all right, everybody running around the corner with a piece of toast in your mouth so you can run into your future boyfriend or girlfriend, or we'll just all get in trouble, be late, and we'll have to clean the pool, which apparently there's a lot of pool cleaning in Japanese high schools. I don't know. That seems to be a favorite punishment. Either that or you stand out in the hallway, right? One of the two. But most of the ones I keep seeing, they have to clean the pool. And usually, they'll have to drain the pool and then clean it, like in Real Girl, or something else to do that. So, today's topics... I was going to go... I'm looking over my notes that I've got in front of me, and I was going to go into some detail about each of these shows that I'm talking about, but I'm realizing that there's kind of an overarching theme running through all of these, or at least two of the shows, or three of the shows, and then some additional stuff going on. Well, here, I'll just go ahead and go through this. So the first two I'm going to talk about really briefly: Two Car, which is about sidecar racing in Japan, and the relationship between that and Harukana Receive, and of course the relationship between that and our favorite anime, Bang Dream. Out of all those two, it keeps stressing. I mean, the overall overarching, aside from everything else that they talk about in there with the character development and stuff, the one thing that keeps coming up for me between all of these shows that I've been watching recently is the concept of connection and bond, Kizuna. So, I mean, you're all familiar. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the poppin'party song Kizuna music. So the bonds of music is what kind of drives everybody's relationship, how they connect with music and how music connects them, all the bands within the bands, all the bands together. And I've been finding that there is that connection that seems to exist, especially in Two Car. Two Car and Harukana Receive, there is that bond, whether it's friendship or something that they do together. In the case of Two Car, they're sidecar racers. So there's the bond between either the passenger or the driver, and the bond between driver and passenger, the bond between the other drivers as a group, and the bonds between the other passengers as a group. Same thing with Harukana Receive, the bonds of friendship and the dynamics of being teammates, being doubles. They're basically it's paired volleyball. So the two players within each, they have to work together as their own team. And so if the bond is not there, they can't function properly. Again, we go back to Bang Dream. If there's no bond between the players, the band members, then they can't be a band. And I think that it's exemplified in the stories of, especially in season 1, the story of Poppypa's formation and Roselia's formation. If there's not that cohesiveness of that group, then things start to fall apart, and there's always a bond of something. And in the case of Bang Dream, there's a bond of music. In case of Harukana Receive and Two Car, the bond of of being teammates in a sport. Especially these are two sports, and then of course the overarching bond of friendship between everybody in this. And one of the things that I like about these two, about Two-Car, Harukana Receive, even Bang Dream. See, Jay and Stuka are right. Everything's Bandori-related. Everything just goes back to Bandori. That is our foundation of truth. There's truth in Bandori, right? That's what we need to preach to everybody. But anyway, one of the things I like in these stories, and some of the other things that I'm going to talk about tonight, there is the element of, and you see this in between some of the bands and yes, 0 degrees of Bandori, pretty much. No 6 degrees about it. It's just right. It's just right there, like boom. But even among the teams, the different teams in Harukana Receive, the different pairs, the different driver passenger teams in Two-Car, yes, there's always that element of the rivalry that you talk about, like, oh, she's my rival, or they're our rival, that team, that band is our rival, and yet in all three, and we'll get to other ones too that I can talk about. In Harukana Receive, in Two-Car, even in Bang Dream, despite the rivalry, there's this element of the rivalry making each group or each team or each band better, because, and it's not it's a non-antagonistic rivalry. It's not that they're rivals, so they're gonna sabotage the other person, or do something where they'll fail and the other group will win. There's none of that. There's always seems to be this element of one team saying, we're rivals, so you need to get up to our level so we can compete, and if you don't, it's not going to be fun. If you don't, then we can't consider ourselves rivals, because the rival is going to be someone that I want to become better with. And I love that aspect of these shows, because there's a life lesson that somebody can be your rival, but they can also force you to grow and change and evolve into a better version of yourself, or an even better version of yourself, which I think is really, really cool. And I love that they do this. And I think I saw something like that in Bodacious Space Pirates to a degree. And again, the whole idea of bonds is there. In that case, it's the bonds of family and past and things. But in here we have bonds of friendship, music, team sports, and I'm sure you're going to see this thing if you look at something like SHIYOU, which I've not quite yet seen. I sort of started it, and it didn't quite catch, or didn't quite hold for me for very long, more than a few episodes. But anyway, I'm sure there's that element in there too, and it even shows up. And the one reason why I'm bringing this up, the whole concept of Kizuna, is because I'm disappearing from view here. I keep leaning too far. The reason I bring up Kizuna music, again, back to Bandori, is again we get the same theme in the most recent thing I've started watching, which is Love Live Superstar. And I'll explain that in just a second. So we've had the other Love Lives in the past that I've seen, of course, which feature Aquars, which is or it was Muse, and then Aquars was the other school idol group that came out of the other two Love Lives. And then the most recent, one of the more recent ones before this one that I was looking into was Love Live Nijigasaki High School, which I started to watch. It's okay so far. It's not quite pulling me in as the other two and this recent one did. I remember watching the first two Love Lives. I basically binged the entire sets of the two shows and realized, there's another one about Muse. I'm going to watch the rest of those ones as well. And the same thing with Love Live Superstar. There's only 6 episodes so far. I think episode 7 is supposed to come out shortly, but I just went ahead and binge watched all 6 episodes, and I'll get to the part about Kizuna in a moment, but I found it really interesting, and I don't know if it was intentional or if it's just me looking at looking at the world through Bandori lenses, because when Kuku and Kanon finally perform at the Idol Festival, and they perform a song called Tiny Star. Is it just me, or is it interesting that the words in the song talk about a shooting star, sparkling, that there are light ones involved, people with glow sticks, that it's the first live performance. It's a live performance, their first time singers on stage. And does that ring a bell to anybody else? Because I was getting shades of Kasumi and Arisa and Rimi up on stage at Space doing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Hello. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I gotta say that elements of that showed up in that first performance by the duo, by Kuku and Kanon, because they're getting encouraged by the audience. They're going ganbare, ganbare. The same thing happens in episode 3 of Bang Dream when the Kasumi's up there singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. The crowd doesn't know what she's doing, but they're encouraging her nevertheless. The light ones come out at one point, and they're cheering them on. And I found this line really hit me when Kanon, right after they see all the light sticks go, the lights come on, she's about to sing, she gets that, she feels the power overcome her, and she says, I can sing because I'm not alone, because she's got Kuku with her, and the rest of the crowd cheering them on. And when they launch into the song, that feeling just hit me in the chest, and like basically goosebumps exploded. I mean, I'm sorry, I got chills, and I started to tear up a little bit because it reminded me of Bang Dream again. And here's the part where Kizuna shows up, because in the bridge to the song, just before the first verse and the chorus, we get these lyrics. Hello, hello, my dream. Hajimete o hajimeyu. Fuan demo. Ikeru heiki. Itsumo susa. Kizuna ga koko ni aru. Our bond is right here. And boy, when I heard that, boom, everything just exploded in my head, and I didn't quite lose it. I had to go back to rewatch episode 3 of Bang Dream to lose it for that point, and that was just a couple hours ago. So yeah, exactly. Yes, I will freely admit that I will lose it just like that in an anime. So having said all of that, the other thing that I noticed, a theme running through all of this. The aspects of friendship, the bonds, the connections between people. In this case, between these two girls, and then later on, by the time we get to episode 6, 3 girls, and then 4 girls who are becoming the group. We're gonna get one more, I'm sure, pretty soon, because there's supposed to be 5 of them in the show in Love Live Superstar. So we've got 4. Just the connection between there. Also the connection between pilots. And this goes out to Stuka for pointing me towards Warlords of Sigurdrifa. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Basically, Sigurdrifa is the alternate name for the Valkyrie Brynhilde, or Brynhild from Norse mythology. And I'm starting to see the same kind of theme going on here. Because we have Claudine, I think that's her name, Claudine. Wait, where have I heard Claudine before? Hello, Review Starlight. Oh boy, here we go. Another Bandori-related, because we know that one is I. Anyway, so we're seeing her dropped into a team, a team setting where she's sort of the outsider trying to get along with these other 4. Valkyrie, who are, all sorts of... other 3 Valkyrie. She's the 4th of their crew. And I'm starting to see that I'm pretty sure... I wouldn't be surprised if Kizuna comes up, or at least a word, or at least a hint to that bond come up, because she's trying to fit into this new group, this sort of ragtag, they're sort of not characteristic of the groups that she's been in. They kind of do their own thing. They're a little haphazard. Lots of hijinks ensue and mayhem, but they're a good group, and I think I'm going to start seeing some of that theme come out in this one. I'm pretty sure. If I'm not, Stuka, let me know if I'm completely wrong, or if I'm sort of moving in the right direction. All right, so the next part that I want to address here, another theme that I've been seeing, and this shows up with a couple of shows that we've been talking about of late, is part of the storyline in Love Live Superstar is that Shibuya Canon was originally loves to sing, and it was originally trying to get into a music, like a very, very high valued elite music program at Yuigaoka Music Academy. It's like a private girls' school. They've got the top tier music. Stuka says you'll have to watch to find out. Oh, okay, I figured. I'll get there. I'm in the middle of episodes now, so I'm really enjoying it. And this is to Stuka. Thank you. But one of my favorite of the foursome is Miyako, because she reminds me of Hikari. For those of you interested, Hikari is the blonde vampire in Interview with Monster Girls, and she's a hoot. Oh my god, she's like the most she's like a bundle of energy and then some, and she reminds me a combination. She kind of reminds me of Kokoro a little bit, just sort of that unbridled energy, just very bubbly, effervescent, loves everybody, can talk to anybody, and will talk your ear off, basically. So I like her character. And I'm hoping there's an element of Miko in Warlords, that there's sort of I don't know if it's a dark side, or at least a side we've not seen yet, because in the most recent episode, the scenes that I'm seeing her between her and Claude, or Clau, Claudine, is she's still that effervescent, she's still bubbly, but there's an undercurrent of there's a seriousness underneath her that's sort of it's I'm not going to say tempered by her. Oh no, the seriousness is tempered by her exuberance, but I'm really curious to see where they take that aspect of her character. Stuka says, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yes, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that I haven't completely binged it yet, except for the fact that because of this next thing that I'm going to talk about, having to do with a couple of shows that we previously been talking about in the last couple of episodes. There's things going. There's things mentally going on. So I'll get to that in just a second. So one of the things, as I was saying, that Canon was trying to get into the prestigious music program at Yuigaoka Music Academy. She doesn't. Because of what happens to her, I'm not going to spoil it. You'll have to see exactly what it is that causes her not making it into the program. But it's something that is taken care of by episode 3 of the series, and I probably already gave the spoilers away. If you didn't catch it, great! I didn't say anything. But no, so she doesn't get into the program, and when she's talking to Cuckoo, she says basically that she's given up on her dream to join the music program and sing, because she wasn't able to get into, she failed the audition, basically. And so she believes that her dream has died, and this realization of what seems to have been a forgotten dream, except now it looks like she can resume her dream by becoming a school idol. Seems to be the thrust of that part of the story, and I find it interesting because two of the shows that we've been talking about recently have to do with dreams. Of course, I'm talking about Bokurema, remake of Our Life, and Aquatope of the White Sand. If you notice that the subtitle or the tagline underneath Aquatope is the two girls met in the ruins of damaged dream. And if that's not a flat out telling you this is what that story is about, I don't know what is. Because in Bokurema we have a dream. We have Kyoya, who had a dream of wanting to be successful and join in with the vaunted group of artists. So we see him go back 10 years in the past to try and make that dream come true. And I talked about this before. One of the reasons that I'm so entranced by this show is the fact that I had been in the past thinking about what would things have been like had I, in my life, had gone back and did something completely different than what brought me to where I am today. And between that and the stuff that's happening in Aquatope, I don't think I've had an anime or a couple of shows, two shows for that matter, hit me as hard emotionally as these two have so far. I mean, I've talked about my visceral gut reactions to stuff happening in Bang Dream. That there are 5 to 6 sections in season 1 that will bring me to tears every single, and it's happened again. I just mentioned it, watching the scene at space, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I just started bawling a few hours ago. So yes, it still hits me. This would be, if I were to rewatch it again, I'm at 12 rewatches so far of Bang Dream season 1. I don't know the count on the other ones because it's mostly season 1 that I keep rewatching. So if I'm due for another rewatch, it'll be 13 of season 1 and probably somewhere in the vicinity of between 5 and 6 of the other two of seasons 2 and 3. So aside from Bang Dream, aside from that, and aside from what seems to be is happening with Love Live Superstar, because I'm really curious to see what happens to these 5 girls, and what becomes of their path, their dream of becoming, again, there we go, talking about dreams, dream of becoming school idols. These two shows, since they have aired, have brought me to points of really and maybe it's come to a point where it's taken an anime to help me reevaluate what's going on in my personal life, and I think it's really interesting and odd and probably completely weird, but I'm sure it happens to people. I'm sure there's people who in their lives, as they're going through, have hit a patch where they've read a book that's completely changed their outlook on life. I'm sure there are people who've seen a movie that made them do something different or made them reevaluate and come to terms with something that's happened in their life. And for some reason, in my case, it's taken me going back to watching anime again, to going back to anime to realize, hey, these are hitting me in certain places emotionally. I mean, the whole bit of let's take Bokurema for example. So the most recent episode 9, I believe, because I think 10 just dropped today. So by this point, we're finding out that if you've been watching, you know what exactly I'm talking about. If you haven't been watching or are in the middle of watching, I won't give away too much. But we find Kyoya finds himself at a point where he's become the catalyst for an event that he did not think he did not plan on. And I don't know if you can really plan for what he's going through. He was under the impression, and with respect, it seemed to be the right impression at the time, that he was doing good, but what turns out happening is not what he thinks, what he had thought would happen. Things have not turned out correctly. Let me put it that way. So there's two lines that stood out to me as part of my let's call it a reviewing of the direction my life has taken. So in the one scene, Kyoya and another office person, like I think she's an assistant, have gone to try and get artwork from an artist that there's working on this game with them. And at one point, because I think she's behind on her deadlines, and they're trying to get her to get back to work on some artwork for the game that they're making. And the character, the artist's name is Minori. They're talking, and they're asking her, why? How come it's not going? What's taking so long? Why? What's the holdup? And the line that stood out for me and kind of hit me in the gut, and I remember thinking, oh my God, and I couldn't breathe for a moment, was, "There's nothing I want to draw anymore." Let me repeat that again. There's nothing I want to draw anymore. Now imagine that coming from somebody who's spent years and years and years either drawing or for that matter singing or writing or doing something that they loved, and then getting to a point where there's nothing you want to sing, or there's nothing you want to sing about or write about, or in Minori's case, to draw anymore. Imagine what that is like. How do you get to a point where that does not happen for you? You see what I mean? I mean that for an artist of any stripe, artist of any sort, to get to the point where they don't want to do their thing anymore, there's something that's hit them. There's something that's happened to them. And for me, it's very similar to something that I am dealing with at this time, which is why this resonated with me, which is why the show is actually resonating with me. The other one is a little later on in the episode, like toward the end of the episode, Kyoya and Shinowaki are talking, and Shinowaki has this line about what she's been doing as an artist working on the games with Kyoya. She says, "I wasn't even sure if what I was doing was art anymore." Okay, I'll read that again. "I wasn't even sure if what I was doing was art anymore." So for artists to get to a point where they say something like that, there's that element of doubt creeping in. Is this, it's between the two of them, is this what I'm supposed to be doing, or am I supposed to be doing something else, or should I not be doing this anymore? Have I reached my limit? Have I done what I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to stop now? Which, in some ways, you could think of it, have I sung everything I'm going to sing? Is there nothing else for me to sing about anymore? In some ways, that's almost frightening for an artist who wants to sing more, to get to a point where, are you losing your inspiration? Are you losing the drive to it? Is there something wrong with you? Is there something wrong with the world? It's one of those where you start to question things, trying to figure out what's going on. And the fact that this is throwing it up for me in my face at this time, there's lots of stuff going on that this is pulling out of me. So it's sort of a, can we call it anime therapy? I don't know whether it's something you need to talk to a therapist about, but it just lots of food, lots and lots of food for thought. I mean, not just food. It's like a smorgasbord. It's like a buffet of thought. At least in my case, might not be the case for you. If it doesn't quite hit you in the same way, nothing wrong with that. I'm just these are my thoughts for it. These are my thoughts. So this is what's going through my head as I'm hearing this and going, oh my God, that they're talking to me. They're talking. I'm in that scene with them. I know exactly what's happening, or I think I know what's happening. There's enough of that going on to make me go, ouch. you just punched me in the feels. Thank you. The same thing happens and that was Bokurema. The same thing happens in Aquatope. We know Fuka leaves Tokyo. Essentially, she's running away. She was an idol. Something happened to her. She was no longer an idol. Somebody else, she didn't get where she wanted to be as an idol. So she runs away and she ends up with Kukuru at the Gama Gama Aquarium. The episode that got it for me was when her mom shows up, basically to try and find out what's going on with her. And there's the whole thing with that. By the end of the episode, her mom comes to a realization that this is what Fuka wants to do, that she's making her own choices. And the thing that got me was toward the end of the episode, Fuka is staying. Of course, as we know, she's staying with Kukuru's family, and there's a scene where Fuka's mom is talking with I think one of their friends' moms, one of the other girls' moms, and then Kukuru's grandmother and grandfather are sitting there talking to her about that Fuka is now coming home at the end of the summer. Her mom gets to spend time with her, or she hopes to spend time with her and, get back to connect. And then she says the line to them, "Please take good care of Fuka." And a little bit earlier, we find out that Fuka's decided she's going to stay. She's going to help Kukuru, and we see the reaction in her mom that by what she's seen coming out to where Fuka is to track her down. She's seen what Fuka wants to do, and it seems to me has come to an acknowledgement that, yes, I agree with what you're going to do. I'm going to support you. And it's kind of interesting because a few weeks back when I was out of town and talking with my parents, I had a similar conversation with my mom about similarly what was going on that was brought up by these two shows. Go figure, right? And when I told her what it was I was talking about, she said, "You know what? I think you're right. That was probably what you should have done, and that would have been fine." And I'm thinking about it now, and I'm trying not to overthink about it too much, because the things will start to happen, and I don't want to do them while I'm on stream. But let's just say that that bit there with Fuka's mom, that scene resonated because I had a similar encounter with my mom several weeks back. Which kind of started to bring lots of things to light, and anyway, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, so yeah, there's Bokurema and Aquatope. I'm really curious to find out where we go with Bokurema. There's, like as I said, episode 10 just dropped, so I'm really curious to see where that's going to go. I'm 2 episodes behind on Aquatope. I think I'm in the middle of the crabs episode right now, so I'm really curious to see where we go. Is Gama Gama gonna stick around? Are we gonna get more of the aquarium? What about the little boy with the colorful things that in his hair? Is he a spirit of some sort? Are we actually gonna get an explanation for how Kyoya is traveling back and forth in time? Is there some sort of Steins Gate thing going on? Is it supernatural? Is there somebody casting a spell? Is what's her name, the senpai that he talks to, who had that really interesting expression on her face the last episode before he jumps into the future in the beginning of episode 8. Or was it 9? Anyway, no, episode 9. Anyway, this recent episode, when he makes the jump forward, she's got that look on her face like, what if it's this? I think the line she says was, what if this is not what is supposed to happen? Or what if this is not the way the future is supposed to be? Something like that, which is really eerie. Is she the one manipulating things? So we don't know yet. I don't know if we're gonna know. There's no clues have been dropped since it's still in the middle of the show. So I can't just like binge the rest of it like I can Warlords to find out exactly what's going on, which I'm enjoying. Again, Stuka, thank you for that recommendation. So yeah, dreams, forgotten dreams, lost dreams, recovered dreams, and then connections between friends, the connections of friends, connections, the connections and bonds of music, especially music. It seems to be the big thing that we're talking about. Bonds of friendship, bonds of team, whether a fighting force of pilots, a sidecar racing duo, or volleyball, or a band. Back again to Bandori. 0 degrees of Bandori. There you go, Jay. It's all you. Again, as the line from Love Live Superstar says, our bond is right here. And yeah, so that was I'm looking forward to some more of what's going to happen. So coming up, we'll be watching some more of Warlords, more of Love Live. I'm really curious to see what happens, like I said, with the rest of Bokurema, Aquatope. So much stuff going on. And at some point, probably in the next couple weeks, I think it's going to be another time for a rewatch of Bang Dream, just because I think it's due. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to probably rewatch the Review Starlight Live #2, and then of course Budokan Live, Miracle Party, which is fun because they recreate the season 1 cultural festival where they sing Starbeat for the first time. One of my ultimate favorite songs of the entire oeuvre of poppin'party of Poppipa. So where does that leave us? A little bit early. It's 9:20. We're about 10 minutes earlier than we would normally end at. I think we're going to close with that. All this talk of not broken dreams, but forgotten dreams, recovered dreams. Maybe these folks are going to recover their dreams. We're just gonna have to see, won't we? So thank you guys for joining me for tonight's stream. It got a little bit heavy there toward the end, but this stuff is this stuff just hits me right there, which I think is good, at least for me. I'm enjoying this. But yeah, I gotta say the fact that Bokurema and Aquatope got to me that level, and just kind of made got me to thinking about stuff. Stuka says anime often makes me feel melancholic or nostalgic. I would have to agree, especially nostalgic. Speaking of nostalgic, looking at older anime just reminds me of, the anime I used to watch. If I were to see something from Macross, Love Do You Remember, the Macross movie, that reminds me, I'm nostalgic for older anime, the what I used to what I watched back in high school when we talked about my anime journey. Looking back at Castle of Cagliostro takes me back, way back, to when I first saw it as a video game called Cliffhanger. Jay says it is good to explore these feelings, especially when it's with something you feel passionate about. Yes. Agree. The fact, I find it interesting, the fact that now that I've, as you might have figured out, anime is something that I've been passionate about all along. It sort of took a what we call it. It was kind of tempered a little bit by other things that were going on, but it's always been It's always been there. It's always been a thread through my life, and just coming back to it, as I've mentioned recently, is like coming back home. So yes, I think the fact that it's a vehicle for exploring stuff, and seeing it as sort of a mirror to stuff going on right now. Yeah, I think it's definitely very healthy, and if nothing else, finding these threads between all these shows and programs is just friggin' amazing. Who would have thought that watching Haruka no Receive and Tukar, I would start to notice, hey, they're talking about emotional bonds and connections between friends. Wait, it's over here too. Isn't that's really cool? I mean, again, that's the English major in me going, hey, let's look for threads that happen between several different novels or several different genres of fiction. What's the overarching theme that connects all of these together? I think I remember, it reminds me of a paper I wrote for a class in college on Bible as literature. I traced the image of the Lamb between Genesis all the way to Revelations, and my teacher thought that was the best thing he'd ever read, especially in I think it was on we had 3 pages or 2 pages or something, very short paper, and I managed to run through the entire use of the Lamb as symbol. He thought it was great. I got an A on the paper. But anyway, stuff like that gets the mental juices flowing, and it makes for lots of food for thought for other things in terms of life going on. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to chat. What do you guys want to hear from Future? I know we've got some shows coming up. I do want to touch on, I started watching Pirate Princess Fina, which I thought was going to be good. I have thoughts coming up on that. We shall see. Probably not the thoughts that other people might be thinking of. Is there stuff that you guys want me to cover? Any shows that you want to chat about in future? I know somebody had mentioned favorite openings and endings. What do you like and why, and what are your rankings for that? So I'm working on that as we speak. Are there any shows you want me to take a look at and see, hey, what do you think about this? And can you find Kizuna? Can you find the emotional bonds, the bonds that connect them in this one too? Speaking of bonds, one that I do want to talk about has to do with Magic High School, which I started watching at one point. I think, Stuka, that was you, the irregular at Magic High School. I think I'd mentioned I started watching it, and I got to a point where it started to kind of peter out for me. But then I noticed there was Honor at Magic High School, which is the story told from the sisters' point of view. And that's gotten me going back to Irregular to see, hey, wait a second, where are the parallels in this story and how do they work? And maybe I might find Kizuna in there too. It's going to be a whole Kizuna thread. It's all about connections and everything. So I put it out to chat. What do you guys, what is something that you would like me to take a look at? Something that you yourself have seen and find. So, all right. And I will open it up. Go for it, guys. What do you want me to see? What do you want me to talk about? Let's see. Looking at my notes here. Yes, yeah. Apparently, I guess it's a newer spin-off because it's pretty recent from what I can tell. For Magic High School, it's called The Honor at Magic High School, and I'm watching it on Funimation. So check out Funny for that one. because I'm actually enjoying the story from the sister's point of view. So I now gone back to rewatch Irregular to see where the parallels are, where they fit, and where they kind of go off to this side, off stage, as it were, to do something else over here. And then while the main story is going on, yeah. Yes, Stuka, you between you and Jay, I've got a pretty full watch list that includes Lord Marksman, which is quite interesting, among others. So besides Stuka and Jay, if there's Amber, anything, Laura, if there's anything you guys want me to check out into, look at more, in addition to all the Bandori-related stuff, because as we have seen, there are 0 degrees of Bandori. Everything is Bandori, and Ayasa would agree with you. I think she definitely would, because she's the honor student, everybody's favorite honor student. Well, my favorite honor student, and I'm sure there's gonna be. Like I said, Chiharun. I'm really looking forward to stuff that she's gonna be in. I'm curious to check out what she did in what was it, Fate Grand Order, and that's one of those shows where aren't there like 34 different Fate Grand something or other. I'm not quite sure exactly where to start with that, if there's a starting place for that, because Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia. What the? I at first I thought, trying to watch Gundam in some kind of, there is a definite order depending on who you talk to. There's the core, and then there's the spin-offs, the sort of side stories and related stories. And much in the same way that you've got Bang Dream and then episode of Roselia 1 and 2. Much high school life of a Fundashi in one day, because they're like, okay, high school, okay, let me check. That sounds kind of fun. Oh, like 5-minute episodes. Okay, that makes me think of what is that? There's an anime about Capybara-san. Is about a family of capybara wandering the plains of someplace, and I think they're like 2 or 3 minute episodes, and it's like, what? And they're just, they go around, they stop and they eat, and something happens, and they go and eat and stop and eat, or they sleep. It's kind of weird. I was watching it, it's slightly mesmerizing, and then you realize the episode's done. What? Okay, high school life. Okay, I will make a note of that one. Oh, speaking, Crunchyroll. Okay, it's on Crunchy. All right, I'll check it out. I still have Outlaw Star to start on. So much other Dagashikashi, Sweetness and Lightning, all the food anime that you guys have been telling me about. Yes, I know, Bento. Yeah, they're getting worked on. Not to worry. Anything else from Amber? Anything from you, Laura? Densetsu FM. Got anything that you guys want me to take a look at, even if it's Bandori related? I haven't been playing much of the game recently, so I'm probably way behind. I know May's shown up with some of the gotchas that she's picked up and her levels, and I'm like, I am nowhere near that. I haven't even looked at my game in since I started playing, but it's still fun to go through. I'm really curious now that I've seen episode of Roselia to check out Roselia's band story in the game and see if there's any connection there, and maybe start reading the band stories of the other bands. Although making an anime might be more fun for me, but anyway, at least it's there, right? There's more Bandori to watch. Yay! Yay! More Bandori to watch. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just having too much fun. Okay, we are now at 9:32 Pacific Standard Time here on the West Coast, I think we'll go ahead and call it. I'm glad you guys were able to hang out with me tonight and chat and join in. Laura, good to see you again. I hope you had some fun with some Bandori stuff, especially with Shaharun joining Hibiki. There's so much fun stuff that's popping up between Iba Derby, Team Y, Hibiki style. There's lots of stuff going on. Have you watched Kiss Him Not Me? But no, you're the second person who's mentioned Kiss Him Not Me. Somebody else mentioned it to me a few weeks back, and I thought, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. All right, so let me go ahead and write that down, because I believe that's what they mentioned to me. What is it that they say? If somebody tells you once, it's coincidence. Somebody tells you twice or 3 times or something like that, pay attention. Or does that just have to do with life in general? Anyway, something like that. But yeah, so you're the second person, so I might mention that anime. So I'll check it out. Oh, by the way, speaking of anime, Netflix anime, The Way of the House Husband, that was on Netflix. The live action version is actually on Netflix now. So I know May had mentioned way back when we were talking about that because I love the anime, it's friggin' hilarious. She said that the live action was also good. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, because I haven't seen it yet and I'm gonna go watch it. I've got it queued up on mine, so that might be kind of interesting. Maybe we'll talk about that. It's not technically anime, but I know it is related to the anime as a live action, and it was a manga as well. Yeah, I think let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and call it. If there's nothing else, we'll meet again. Let's see. What I was going to do was skip a week, and we'll meet again for the next show on the 25th of September. There's some stuff that I'm still working on, working out, and then hopefully by then we'll get back to the weekly schedule. So we're going to skip a week, so not the 18th but the 25th. So we'll do that as the next show. And next time we will talk about the ones that I didn't get to was where are my notes here? Give me one sec. I believe I wanted to talk about interview with Monster Girls was one, and where's another one? Hang on, guys. Still on my notepad here. Yes, it was going to be interview with Monster Girls and oh yes, Bodacious Space Pirates, which I kind of touched on a little bit here, but maybe we'll talk about interview with Monster Girls next time. Yeah, we'll do that. And then there was also one or two other ones that I was we'll cover some more of Bokurema then. We'll have at least they're on episode 10. So we'll talk about at least episodes 10 and 11 next time of Bokurema, and then I'll pick up on Aquatope because following the crab episodes, there's 2 more after that, and I think there should be one more dropping by the time we talk again. It'll be almost, I think, if they're going to do 12 episodes, they're there, and then let's do some Warlords for next time too. Let's see if that Kizuna bond. If those bonds and connection, are still Sigurd Drief are there, and we can complete that segment of our theme night, Kizuna. All right, so we'll leave it at that. Thanks, guys, for coming. Jay, Stuka, Amber, Densetsu, FM, Laura, it's good to see you again. Thanks for coming out. I hope you had a good time. And let me know, or I'm going to check your Instagram feed for Neo Aspect. And if you do a full version of Firebird, I want to see that too. So because that one that little segment that you did, that was awesome. That was you rock. You rock. Seriously. That's some really good guitar playing there. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming out to the stream. And here, I'll take you to some closing music.